to call the joint building committee to order. First thing on the agenda is
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have two sets of minutes to approve, March 25th and April 18th.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And first, Harvey, here we go.
It's easy since we've all just looked at the space itself. There's the rendering of what it's going to look like in our little handout. I put in the upper picture is what the old front entry was, just to give everybody a reminder of that drive-through and the gate where the buses went. And, actually, that drone picture at the bottom was taken by a student, which was really neat. Michelle shared with us, so you can kind of get a view of all the action that's happening in the front of the space now. Just listing down the left some of the work that's going on behind the tarps. There's some brick continuing. The glass is starting this week. I'm mobilizing, and the curtain wall should be showing up so we can get some of that in. Interior framing, you saw a lot of that was complete, both the drywall and masonry openings. The MEP mechanical ductwork and plumbing is going in, and the kitchen is getting its equipment installed as well. So I just put through some pictures there. So that was the ramp looking towards the gym. You see the ductwork up in the air. The masonry wall, the interior partitions that we walked through, so up in the admin space. And just continue on the brick hiding under the tarp. You can see it's getting installed. It's under there. The kitchen is the lower picture with that center hood. And just some more drywall being continued, ductwork up in the air. You see the piping up in the air, duct getting connected to that hood in the kitchen. The mechanical upgrades, this is what we don't usually see much of, but I do try to mention. Boiler number 1's been installed. Boiler number 2 we're going to demolish in the next couple weeks here and get that replaced. So that's the upper right picture, has an old and a new boiler. The existing makeup air unit was demolished to allow for some new equipment to come in. So that frame was in here last week, setting equipment for the new spaces. And the upper picture, upper left, is the switchgear room, which is actually off of the HVAC lab, where we put the new electrical entrance. So that's work progressing there. Phase 5, the makerspace. I missed the beginning of the tour, but Michelle might have taken you guys through there already. It's where the ceiling is painted blue, and the left black poly window openings are where it's all going to be glass for that makerspace. So that'll be really nice once that's done. And then the lower picture is just the other side from the corridor. You can see how the all that corridor work we were able to do kind of during the school year, not wait, which was good. So continuing working there, the glass, the mechanical and electrical finishes as we move forward. Phase 6 next door, the graphic arts. Similar masonry work going on. That was where the old dark room was, the hole in the masonry wall there. Ductwork going in, and that's the next space to be painted out to match. So just kind of continuing on. The summer move plan, I think that comes up a little bit later. I know the district's looking at move contractors and planning that to happen in the end of June. So that's just for reference. And then our summer work will be phases 8 and 8A, which is the lab space downstairs in the corridor, and then the automotive addition, of course, and then the small wonders and the playground. So there's been some progress with that as well, where the playground designer has been to the site and met with the staff. So they're making up a design, and we're going to work with SUR to implement what we can with the allowance money we have and have a plan then to go forward for future improvements as money permits. So all that we're getting ready for. And then the last phase, starting in September when school's back in session, the second floor criminal justice area and the bank, where the bank is currently doing environmental sciences and so forth. So these last phases are the same. Any questions?
Good job.
So, can
change order 6 was reviewed and signed this last week. There was a subcommittee that did go through this. Obviously, somebody else to go through these in detail. We did. One thing, most of it were smaller things. There was one significant one, which was swapping out light fixtures. The engineer actually specified light fixtures and they did light calcs based on one light output, and the fixtures that were ordered are a different output, so the engineer, the change order associated with that, the engineer, the bulk of the change order is paid for by the engineer. So although it's part of the change order, we'll see when we get to the budget form that the engineer is actually gonna pay for that themselves in there.
And about 14,000 of that is the fully rosy credit union will be reimbursing for. If you go back a slide, you can see the additional glass at the financial services. They wanted an additional window from the office into the classroom, and then they wanted their own separate electrical services. So they would need to pay for that.
So, one of the things we've been working on since the last meeting was going through equipment. What we've done, could you pull up the Excel file really quickly? So, we had a lengthy meeting with Mike and Michelle, and went through all the equipment, and essentially sorted it into 4 categories. That's been informing our budget process. It's not showing. Great picture.
It's on my screen. So hang on, let me see if I can. I don't know why it's not, it's not down here.
All right, well. Go back to your slide, so I think you have the summary.
Okay, I do, I have that included in here. We'll get there.
And there it is.
We'll-
So what we did essentially is we took all of the equipment lists, including everything purchased today and everything requested, and we put it into 4 categories. Already purchased, and this committee's already voted on it, and some of this includes the CIC equipment, the Promethean boards, some furnishings, and we put that into one category. We have about 207,000 that's already been purchased. Priority 1 is in this first year, things that we need to purchase as those spaces come online for them to even be operational as classrooms. So we put in that category about $355,000 worth of equipment. That's our estimate. It still needs to be bid out and then approved by this committee. And then priority 2 is the following year, we've got about $400,000 worth of equipment, or $404,000 worth of equipment we're planning to purchase. So if you add up those 3, you get to 966, 949, and that's what you'll see updated in your current budget. So it's a different number than you did in February. Priority 3 is the items that, after lengthy discussion, we said we just can't afford at this point. Either for a myriad of reasons, everyone has a different reason. Either 1, it was too expensive for us to be able to afford, or 2, the expense was higher than what the value was of the equipment. So what we essentially said is, if somebody would like to donate, we put them in that category. The Excel spreadsheet is, I don't know, maybe 2,000 strong of items. I can get it to Mike and you can share it with any of you. You can cherry pick through it, but there's a significant list, and I think we've got everything kind of all in one place finally, where we're saying everything that fits into one of these categories. It was a fair amount of discussion, was priority 1 versus priority 2. There's plenty of discussion of 2 versus 3. So that feeds into our overall budget here. Really, the only thing that's changed in this budget last month is if you look under the equipment costs, so line 5 and above, you'll see there's a few items that aren't in that list, such as digital TV, which was an approved purchase, such as the TV studio and AV equipment, which was an approved purchase last meeting. And then you've got the 966, that's priorities 1 and, already purchased 1 and 2. And then just off to the right, it said 456, not paid for yet. So overall, if you go all the way to the bottom of the budget, on funding sources, you'll see the city council approved $4.8 million here. We are getting 21,000 back. We spent 21,000 out of a previous year's budget. We have Atlantic Broadband giving us $9,600. I've updated the rebates based on what we know about some of those submittals that are coming forward. It was 30,000, we think we're gonna be closer to $70,000 in rebates, and it's higher, that's great. I know on one of our previous projects, they capped them at 35,000 per year on lighting. Even our project stands 2 years, it's about 70,000. It really depends on what the program rules are this year versus last year. And then you'll see Ms. Maritachi's contribution towards that change order, 27,000. I'm sorry, I did not get the bank's contribution, so that will help here. And that results in the bottom number, that red number. We're $166,000 over budget if all of these equipment purchases are made.
Talking about all of the categories,
All, no,
not
not category 3.
three.
Category 3 is above and beyond that.
So basically, I don't know if I'm just brain tired tonight. The 966, 949 is either paid for, budgeted, planned, and within a budget. Is that correct? Is that what you're
Yes.
telling us?
Yes. So 966, this one's cumulative here. 966, already purchased, we don't need to talk about. Need to purchase this year and need to purchase next year. If you add up those 3 categories, you get to 966, 949. That's the stuff that we said the program's needed.
So it's needed and it's in the budget for the
Right, it's needed and therefore it's in the budget.
Okay.
So the original number between what we budgeted, which was 800 grand, and the 966, it gets us priority 1 and 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So the overall overage we need to complete the project is about 625K.
If you buy everything in priority 3.
Got it. That's
So
all.
priority 3, like I said, it's a big list and there was a myriad of reasons things landed in that category.
But you're saying we're 166 short on the priority 2?
We're 166 short on priority 2. We are 166 short on priority 2 for sure. We haven't bid that equipment out. If bidding goes really well on this equipment, we're able to get it cheaper, that number will change. And I know this is a constantly fluctuating number, but we're constantly updating the cost of this equipment because we haven't purchased it yet, it hasn't been bid yet.
So what does category 2 mean? What's the definition? Must have?
Category 2 is must-have, but could happen in the second half of the project. So it could be a lab, could be a lab that was opening at a later phase, or it could be something that this lab could get by without this equipment for a semester but really doesn't need it. So if I get the Excel file to work, and we kind of go through why they end up priority 1 versus 2. Priority 1 was you can't really even use the space without this piece of equipment. It doesn't work. Priority 2 was this is a very valuable piece of equipment. It has educational merit. We really do want to purchase it. And if we can't figure out how to do it here, then we'll look at other funding, whether it's Perkins money or somehow. It's essentially stuff the teacher says I can't get the kids certified without. I can live without it for a while, but I can't live without it when we're all done.
So there's 166 in that number.
Yeah, the 166 short.
And
Now, some of you may say, why don't you just take all 166 out of contingency and balance the budget? If we do that, right now we have 334,000 in contingency. I think we're going to be very tight if we don't preserve some contingency. I mean, we still haven't opened all the areas of existing construction. It seems like every time we open an area of existing construction, we find something. Just the quality of construction that was, when this was built. We still got the preschool to work out over there, and there's a lot of, we've had some concerns about the structure there, so we've cut the scope back. However, we still have some discovery to do. So I'm really worried about taking all of this money out of the contingency at this point and not having enough flexibility to address what we find in future phases.
What's the lead time on the equipment that's in the 166? Is there something that you can order and get in 2 months or 3 months or 1 month?
Most of it, yes. Most of it is 1 to 2 months.
It's not custom machinery or anything like that?
I don't believe so. Michelle would know some of the long lead items better than me. I would think the auto list would be some of the lengthiest lead
A lot
time
of
items.
us
Yeah.
are on tonight's agenda.
Okay.
We have to bid for those.
Good. I'm not confident how long the lead time is, but I didn't see anything on there that was custom made. A lot of our prices came from off-the-shelf prices.
Correct.
The auto list, we need to, because we're moving some out, some back in, we're trying to combine them all, so.
That makes sense? I'm sorry, I know it's a moving target. tonight, I'll actually update this again, move stuff to already purchased.
Any questions, folks?
No, but ideally, and Lance, I hear what you're saying about the size of the Excel document and the number of items on it, and I know I don't know anything about machinery, but it would be really nice to actually see these categorized. You've already done the work to actually see the list.
So, at every
Categories.
meeting, I give Mr. Hopkins a thumb drive, and the Excel file is included in the thumb drive.
Okay.
So he can distribute it to you.
We'll send that out tomorrow.
Unfortunately, for some reason, it's not popping.
Oh, no, I get it. It's just you said you've done the work, and
We have done the work.
better or
Yeah.
worse, it would be
Yeah.
nice to be able to
We're
see.
happy to
Yeah,
share
we
it.
have it.
Mike will send it out. We'll have Mike send it out tomorrow, right, Mike? Yep.
So, it's gonna happen if these are
All right.
contingencies or if that's supplemental.
Anything else with the Valley Bensinger, folks? So now we have some recommendations to talk about. Oh, go ahead.
So just one more question on those groupings. The priority one is a no-brainer, right? You can't use the space if you don't have the equipment. And the priority 3 is pretty clear. You can live without it. The priority 2 stuff, it sounds to me that if we did find ourselves over budget, that's a list that could be reparsed, right? Because we're not saying that stuff needs to be, the spaces don't work without it. Is that an accurate statement?
So, in some cases, but the case of the lifts and things like that, that's in priority 2, just because we haven't purchased it yet. It would then go to priority 1. So I think you're gonna see tonight, as you work your way through, some things should have been in priority 1, we just made priority 1 because we already purchased them in many cases, so, but, you know, and we're trying to work our way through the highest priority of those priority 2, I think. And so, yes, in the end, the ones that are left at the end, we would have to live without if we don't have the funds, so.
I think that's all it'll be, as we sift through each one of these programs, we're gonna find, we have to have this, or we don't have to have that, we're gonna have to sacrifice a little here somewhere.
I think the toughest thing would be starting next September with an empty makerspace.
Right.
And that's the toughest part of that.
Well, I think we have to think about it too, that this is a $12 million project. And if we're within $166,000 of having all the equipment needed to open for the entire year of the second year,
We're doing good.
yeah, we should figure something out. So,
All right.
All right. Recommendations.
So item 5, I passed out tonight this furniture, equipment, and tech update, and you also had backup that came in your items. So let me just go through the first sheet with you to tell you what we're going to ask you to spend. The computer and tech equipment comes to $137,458, and we'll go through that list and tell you which vendors on the next page. Then we have gone out to bid for the auto lifts and alignment area. And so this includes the amount for the lifts and the moving of the current lifts, if I have it right. Moving them out while the space is renovated, then moving them back in. 2 of them come back in, and the others go to salvage. So that's included in all that bid. Then the moving bids for $33,685, which we'll review, is, if you remember seeing Kathy's list of all those orange dots going everywhere, that's moving all that equipment out in a storage space, mostly on this site, and then back in for the start of the school year. July and August is going to be very busy. And then with the restaurant management program, we really need the small wares, and you have that list on your backup, and I'll go through that. But what I'd like to do, I guess, is to start with the second page of the handout tonight, which shows you our recommended computer and networking purchases, and you can go to your backup, it lists all the vendors, but these are switches from the Amascape network, 3 switches at $998, 3 at $669, and 3 at $248. Those are various size switches, the 50 port, the 24 port, and the 12 port. So that would be the recommendation for that company as the low bidder, and I don't know if you want to do them as you go along, or you want to wait till you hear all of them and decide when to go back.
Anyone have a preference? Why don't we hear them all?
Okay. So then the next one is laptop carts. Howard Tech Solutions is the recommended bidder. Any case where they're not the low bidder, Dave Yasinchuk has gone through them and they didn't meet the spec. So these are laptop carts, actually. Making sure you look at that versus the laptops themselves. So there's the 8 laptop carts and 4 carts that will handle in graphic arts. They have smaller tablets. So you have both those 854 is the laptop carts and 723 are the tablet carts. Then you look next at the laptop bid. Staples is the recommended bidder there at $649, and there's 88 laptops to be purchased. Those end up going in the laptop carts for various programs. Desktops, we have only 15 of those at $964. CDWG is the recommended bidder there. Macintosh computers, 40 of those. That's really going in photo and graphic arts, if I have it right, because those industries usually use Macintosh computers versus PCs. And so that's $1,049 is the Apple price, the best you can do. Android tablets, 40 of them. Those are, again, graphic arts and photo from Staples at $123 each. And SHI is the vendor for network management at $3,550. They met the bid and were lowest to be honest. I guess they were $4 off. So that would all add up to that $137,458.
For network management, is there anything on site they do? Because they're out of New Jersey, everyone else is.
Yeah, no, they're really, it's providing that backup and support that they need.
Any other questions, folks?
As far as the laptops goes, what's considered a normal lifespan for a laptop?
So we go at least 4 years or longer on our laptops.
Okay, so leasing doesn't make sense.
The leasing works if we know we have the continual ongoing funds for it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, thanks.
No, I think it was the Jets, those guys that take it over. We actually need to buy half as many Macs as laptops for that program. I mean, it's obscene if you think about it. They're twice as expensive. It's just an observation. For those of us that, it's just a surprise.
Well, if you...
I'll take it face value, they're better in that kind of program. It's just, they're twice as expensive.
Well, if you compare the Macintosh to the desktops right above, which is similar to use, they're not as big a difference when you see that. The laptops are,
okay.
in many cases, we have trouble having laptops in engineering, for example. The laptops aren't going to handle that high-end stuff without, so heavy you wouldn't move them around anyway. So that, and really the graphic interface on the Mac for the graphic arts and the photos is what they standardize.
It's not a bad price.
It's not that the price is bad, it's just that,
The difference.
It's overwhelming when you look at them side by side.
yeah, and people trot around with their Macs, that's all. I just think it's, maybe the Mac is technically a desktop.
And Macintosh you can only buy through Apple, correct?
What's that?
Apple, yeah, Apple Touch.
That's a good
Apple
word. I like that.
Macintosh.
I like that.
Typically buy them through Apple.
Yeah, these are all directly from Apple, so it's an education.
It's the
price.
applications that the computer is running. And that's why, so you're getting more memory, a better graphics card, so you can run programs that are taught in the classroom. So I think that the old classroom had a lot of printmaking, literally printmaking. Well, now, when we talk about graphic arts, we think about using the Adobe products, like Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, and running that on a less expensive laptop. It's just, you're not gonna, it'd be slow, you may not be able to handle it. So the cheaper laptops are for different programs, different classroom applications. The more powerful machines, much like the desktops noted above, they're running more sophisticated programs that the students are literally learning about. If that makes sense.
It
I'll make
does,
a motion
and I get
to
it, it's
approve the
hard.
purchase.
The Macs also are used out in industry, so it was our advisory board highly suggested the kids get experience using the Mac, so if they do go out into the workforce after high school, they'll have exposure to the different programs on there.
Marketing department, it's Max. The rest of us that work on it,
Right,
PCs.
I think that's the reason someone's locked.
I'll make the motion to approve the computer and tech purchase in the amount of $137,458.
Second.
Any discussion, folks? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Lifts.
Lifts, so Dave's here to answer all questions about lifts when they come up. But Dave did a great job working with Bob Ninehouse, the teacher, on developing the bid specs, going out to bid. So really Lappin's at $55,550 is the recommended. It's a lift with the alignment system, so students will be aligning front ends, I would guess, doing that. And then the next bid is the 13,044, which is two 10,000-pound lifts. And as you look through the bid specs, you'll see that we're recommending the forward DP10, if I think we have that right. It should be there somewhere, right?
Second on the page.
Second to last. And it shows the forward DP10, and it's 13,044, but it's a mistake here, it's 11,544, right? Is that what it was? So if you look, the fourth one down on the removal of 5 existing lifts and the installation of 3 removed lifts, so we're recommending that to be 13,044, not 11,544. But that's the one we're recommending.
What do you mean by bidder keeps 2 lifts versus some
Just
that?
pulling some out, we're not keeping all of them, so they're essentially they're crediting us to the purchase.
Oh, perfect.
Mr. Todd, I'm assuming that alignment rack is 4-wheel, 55 grand. It's gotta be a 4-wheel alignment rack.
It's a full computerized system,
Yeah.
lasers and mirrors, and it's the state of the art, it's the newest. In fact, by the time we wrote this spec, had the walkthrough, and between we had the walkthrough and when the bid responses came back, they come out with new equipment. So the bidders all bid on the newest equipment coming out, so this is it.
And then second to that is, I know there's 2 different lift sizes, there's full size and there's mid size. Is it full size F350? What size is it?
These are 10,000-pound capacity,
So that's
on the two post lifts, they're all
Yeah.
across the board, perfect 10,000-pound capacity.
Good.
Thank you.
What did we originally budget for the list? Good thing you have a Mac, they work harder.
It's,
we could talk about the summer moves while they're looking for that. So if you look about the fourth page back, we had the list of the process we went through to find movers. Harvey and LBA recommended some movers they've used. We invited 5 contractors for a walkthrough. 3 came through. Wakefield Moving and Storage gave us a price of $59,600. ABC Moving and Storage $47,600, and Calling Our Cargo $33,685. We would be recommending Calling Our Cargo. Really, the difference in the ABC Moving and the Calling Our Cargo is that the rigging and the rigger is a lot more expensive. What ABC uses versus Calling Our Cargo. So really, what happens with movers, if you've ever had one, they give you an estimate. They're not locked into anything. It's how long it takes them. Dave spent quite a bit of time going through with all these vendors and reviewing all the work, just to understand, I believe, some of the issues. There's kitchen equipment upstairs here on the second floor that we don't want to be traipsing down the brand new stairs to the kitchen. So Dave has them moving them down through the high school hallways to the big elevator, back down, and then back through the first floor, if I have that right, Dave. Right? So that's not everything, but the things that are too big to move. Nobody wanted to cut a hole in the outside wall and let us put it out there. So it's a big piece of equipment we have to move from. So they've done a nice job realizing that, we just, within the lifts, that's going to be their move.
Found the answer to your question. So the scissor lift and alignment system, we had 24 grand budgeted for the scissor lift and 22 grand for the alignment system, totaling 46 grand, so we're a little bit lower. This is a little bit more expensive than the original budget. However, the 2-post lift, $13,000, we had originally budgeted 32 grand for a 2-post lift. So, I don't know if that was an error, but that's what we had in our budget. Both of those are priority one as we need these to.
So you had 32 grand budgeted for 2 lifts on the 2-post?
No, I have 2-post lift, 32 grand for 2-post lifts.
And we're paying 13 each? All right.
And we're purchasing 4 new ones. So if it was a savings of 15,000 on each, it's only 4.
No, I have 32 grand total for the lifts on that. That was scissor lift, 24.
No, you're right, I'm totally, yeah, I'm way off base, sorry about that. Yeah.
So we budgeted 46 for the scissor lift with the alignment rack.
We're purchasing 4, but it's included in this.
In 13,000. Okay, so we budgeted 32.
So the totals are close.
Yeah, and our totals by that math are
So really, we had budgeted 78 and it's coming in at 68.
Perfect. That's what I was thinking. I'll make a motion to approve the lift purchase and moves. Scissor lift in total with the amount of $55,550 with the alignment system from Lappin's, as well as from Lappin's the 2-post lifts at $13,044.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Any questions on the moving bid?
I'll make a motion to approve the calling all cargo at $33,685, knowing that there's, depending on the time used.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Just curious. You said calling all cargo was what you recommend?
Yes.
ABC moving?
ABC had bridges, so that's what it's.
Okay. Wanted to make sure I was clear in my head. All right, any other questions, folks? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right.
In the list of kitchen smallwares, all the, as you're moving from a very small restaurant management program to a larger, realized we needed all these different items. You can see the cost per item and the number needed estimated. What really to have the program up and ready to go come fall, we really need to move forward with purchasing these items. So we would, hopefully you would agree to let Michelle and the teachers go through each individual item and get the best prices they can on all these items. I can tell you they're very good at bargaining and finding the right items. But it estimated at $10,000.
So this is in addition to what we currently have.
Yes.
Basically, what we saved in the auto lifts.
We will spend in vegetable peels, or will be.
Potato brushes.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the small wares for the kitchen in the amount of $10,988.
I'll second that.
Any discussion, folks? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
We should totally put that in contingency.
Furniture bid.
But we forgot to remove that from the agenda from last month. So
That's good. I think I'm done with furniture.
Anything for
It's not
any?
No, no.
Thank you.
Throw something.
All right, feasibility study, capital campaign.
So this is really just to remember and decide when or if we're going to ask the council for additional funds and then try to fill it with a capital campaign and it seems like things are moving enough that we may be a month away from thinking about that or longer, but just want to make sure we put that on the list.
And I think that it's a conversation we need to revisit, and I sidebarred it in a full board meeting, we hadn't gone back, so we should put on the agenda for the full board meeting, talk to everybody first before we get to the council. That makes sense to school board members? All right.
Any others? Anyone else have anything else? Public comment? Anybody? Before we have a motion to adjourn, I think we need to talk about our next meeting here,
Not having one. Yeah, it's a regular September.
which I think will be Memorial Day.
That's probably not gonna happen.
So what's everyone's schedule like? I know, Councilman, you have budget hearings between now and then, right?
We're gonna do that every Tuesday.
So if you stay with the Tuesdays.
Stay away from Tuesdays, we don't have any non-Tuesdays.
Monday's the best day.
June 3rd.
No, I think June 3rd is the way to go.
You did either do that or the 17th.
Your after graduation.
20th.
Of May.
Yeah.
20th of May?
It's just a week earlier than our usual.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, I don't care, whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
Which one we'll do?
I'll recommend the 3rd of June.
I'll second the June 3rd, June. I think it's literally 3 weeks.
You didn't talk about the 10th, June,
Why was it 10th?
because of the Monday.
It's graduation week, so I think if we don't have it on the 3rd, we're done until we do
We'll
it.
get adult ed on that.
Is that what it is, adult ed on Monday?
I'm gonna go with that.
Is that?
It is the week after, don't
It
it?
is?
17th, but
Okay.
I think, yeah,
Well,
it's a pretty busy week.
When is graduation?
Do the 3rd.
The 14th. We're doing the Dom t-shirt, remember?
Yeah, this is gonna be rough.
Yeah, I'd say the 3rd, Maddie, you go to that?
Yep.
Is everybody go to the 3rd?
It's just a planning board meeting, but
Nah, they don't like it.
as long as Walker goes to planning board, I'll come.
6:30 walkthrough again, the 7 o'clock meeting.
That'd be great. I think that's good. I do have one other thing under other. So, we're gonna be essentially done with the project, doing like punch list stuff in March, right? That's the timeline. We finished with the project.
Kathy's gonna be out of here December 1st.
Yeah, that's great.
I heard that the last time.
Well, she did say November and then she changed it. No, December.
I'm just thinking a week before we open the doors, we should do a soft opening or a walkthrough with the counselors and elected officials and whoever else is part of the process.
Really by September, everything will be done but 3 programs.
Yeah.
So that may be one you want to do, and then again, maybe in January when
Yeah,
everything's
either one, I think it's important that we try to get the community into the space and kind of stimulate some excitement about it, so we can bring fosters and stuff like that and do a soft walkthrough. Yep. So people can see, it's been a lot of effort and energy going into this
If the
thing.
space we walk through will be occupied from September.
Perfect. So I think if we do something like that, we'll invite a couple of people and counselors and do the walk.
Yeah, it's good to look at.
Right. People who are part of it. You know. Okay, so all the, Michelle, what are those groups you have, your committees?
The advisory.
Bring the advisory groups. and
So,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
we have a joint meeting coming up in May,
Okay.
on the 21st, so we'll be doing a little presentation, and then, if we get the okay, we can show them.
Yeah, and I think if we do something like that, it's important that they see what we're investing in and their feedback's important, so we'll put something on the books for that.
About the contingency of
I don't know. Not anything we decided today, we got all summer, but if we get closer to it, we'll look at it, but I'd like to do something where we have like a soft opening.
I wasn't sure if you were thinking spring or fall. Or you wanted to.
I think closer to January would be important, something in December, like right before Christmas break or right after.
Right.
As to the walkthrough, I would think that the next walkthrough would be after you do your move
Right,
and not necessarily before, and that's not gonna be June the 3rd, so.
right. Well, it's still good to see progress, it's a lot.
If you'd like to have a plaque for one of those soft openings, we'll want to be a couple months in advance to make all the decisions to what goes on there.
No plaques, we're gonna graffiti the brick.
Any time capsules or anything.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Lance and I talked about time capsule, which I think is really cool.
I have a time capsule under my desk right now.
Do you really? That makes me very uncomfortable. Does it got a
Yes,
timer
if you
on it?
wanna, if you wanna look at it, you can look at it after.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just a
that's
little capsule, but,
something we should definitely.
yeah, we'll be putting a lot of our digital pictures on flash drives and, some other things in there.
So, yeah, we'll talk about that and just keep it on the agenda for soft opening dates. I think somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're closer to complete, where all those spaces are almost done. That's the important part. Time capsule, I think that's cool. It's,
Historian and me agreed. It's not that eyeball.
you and Sandy, it's important.
Any others? Folks? We're good?
Motion.
Motion to adjourn. All right, is there a second? Someone please. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned.